Well, Sue, thank you very much for joining us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, Sue Francis.
We just chopped your head
Aged.
off, you.
Aged.
You just before we turned the mics on, you said to Mike how old you were, and he didn't believe it. And you do not look your age at all.
No, you don't.
Well, I feel incredibly lucky. I've had an outdoor life, basically, so I don't understand how I haven't got
Millions of
wrinkles and awful skin. So yes, I've had a very privileged life with horses.
Has your mum got good skin?
Yes, Mum has, and Mum's still going really well.
Yeah.
She's 94, keeps house for my brother, does the gardening, still drives. Dodgy, but she still drives, and she's very independent. She's absolutely an amazing woman.
So you take after your mum then, don't you?
Yeah, I'm one of 6 children, good Catholic family, cough, and we have an immense family and we get on absolutely brilliantly. We have such good times together. There's not one of us that don't bond with each other, or nephews, nieces, cousins, second cousins. It's a big family.
What's the secret to that, though, in your opinion?
We're all different. We are completely different. We used to tease Mother that actually it was the milkman, the baker and the grocer. We all have fairly different characters, but we're all very strong characters and we do various different things and we have different strengths. Each of us have different strengths and those strengths help keep the family bonded, actually. It's a very important thing to me, my family.
But it's that celebration of the strengths, isn't it? It's recognition. It's okay to be different and not have to conform with whatever the...
Yes. My siblings say I'm Somerset direct.
What does that mean?
It means I don't have a filter.
Okay.
Yes, I think most of my friends will say exactly the same. I say it as it is. I never mean to offend, but it does come out quite blunt at times.
Do you think that's why we're friends?
I think that's why we're friends, Andy.
And have been for a really long time. How long?
I remember Boyles.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, he was still at our place after a party Christmas Eve, and you phoning saying, is he there? Yes, he's with me. I'm sending him home now. But our children have been friends for years, since day dot. And I think it goes back that far, if not farther.
But that also then links back to differences again, doesn't it? Because those boys are also different.
Yes.
But yet they all are very, very close.
Gone different paths in their lives. Some of them you wouldn't think would connect with their other friends. Close. They really are close. It's lovely to see.
Isn't that thing about you don't have to have anything necessarily in common with somebody? It's just being like-minded people, if you see what I'm saying.
Yes. Definitely. Like-minded, truthful. That's the other thing I really believe in. I believe in being truthful, and my ethics would state that on, how I approach things. I've done a lot of rehab with horses. I've been very lucky to run a big equine yard that the vets have put horses in, recovering from injury. And I can tell you when that horse comes in, whether that horse is going to recover, not recover, or have a use of a different life, not a competition horse, but will be very happy doing what they're doing. And sometimes owners want to hear it and sometimes owners don't. So I appeal to some people, I don't appeal to others.
That's probably the best way to be, isn't it? A bit about what you said earlier about being blunt. Sometimes it's better to be honest and blunt because then everyone knows where you are with them.
Yes, I think so. Well, that's me.
Yeah.
It's coming back when you related it to horses, because I'm similar to you. And don't hesitate to say a horse down if it's necessary. I don't want to see a horse suffer. And I remember recently when I lost one of my horses, and you were the first person I picked the phone up to and said, what do you think? Yes, I agree with you. Yes, we should do that. And that was it. And then quite recently, matey boy in the field decided to play up when we were away. And I know that it's so important to have somebody who can be that straight, because otherwise you see these poor animals that are suffering.
We have a duty of care to our animals to do the best by them. And the best by them isn't always to keep them going.
Yeah.
Because there is no recovery from some things. And I never want to see them suffer like that.
Yeah.
So it is my duty of care to advise a client or, yourself. I came down the other Sunday night knowing your horse was having colic, I looked at him and I thought, no, he'll be fine. I just need to lunge him, get the gas out of him. I'll call the vet. Angie's in France. Don't panic, Angie. It'll be fine.
But I also knew that. I knew that whether he would be fine or not fine, he would be fine because you would make the decision one way or the other, and that would be fine. And I trust your decision making on that. And I think that's, I suppose, as an owner of any kind of animal, I think having somebody that can give you informed information and say, no, this horse or this dog or whatever needs to be put to sleep, then I think I respect that.
It's pretty controversial because other owners want to see it through to the end because they're not ready.
Yeah.
It is a journey, Angie.
Yeah,
it is a complete journey for different people on how they perceive when the end is ready. Sometimes that's not for me to say, even though I think it.
But do you not think that animals tell you when it's the right time? Because I feel that they do.
Yeah, you have different characters in animals, as you do in humans.
Yeah.
And different characters in the animals don't give in. They still wag their tail at you. They still look quite happy. They can't get out. They pee themselves, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But they still go, hi, Mum, how are you? And that's the difficult choice because you perceive them as still being happy.
I know Barney, my first proper horse that I got on really, really well with. He was ready to go. I knew he was, and he kind of implied it. But I was going on holiday, so I got one of our mutual friends down to feed him drugs for the week that I was away, and then we did the deed when we got back. But I wasn't, like you were saying, I wasn't ready to say goodbye to him before I went on holiday, and that sounds really selfish. No. It was selfish, but I did it that way.
But that is my point. The owner has to be ready as well.
But doesn't this? Oh, this is really controversial.
Yes, well,
this then is
controversial today.
This also then links to humans, doesn't it? Because we recently experienced a very sad passing of somebody literally last week, and it was really awful to see that person suffer, like really, and the family have to suffer by watching that person suffer. It's inhumane, whereas our animals don't need to go through that.
I've just done the same yesterday. Went to visit a very dear friend who is got a couple of days, and none of the drugs are touching her. You know what the end result's going to be, and it was sad to see her like it. I felt it was unfair.
No, I agree with you. And I think the other thing is the medical teams are putting up their hands tied.
Absolutely.
Because people say it's unethical to support that person
in their wishes. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But it's like Dave's dad. I mean, Dave's dad's 92.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets about, to look at him, you wouldn't think there was a great deal wrong with him. You don't want to be here. He hasn't wanted to be here for the last 10 years. He's absolutely so unhappy. I think you posted the other week, a thing on social media about the happy guy who everybody thought was wonderful, and then sadly he took his own life. And it's very much like that, isn't it? The outside world don't really know what's going on internally for you, whether that's a physical challenge or a mental health challenge. We just don't see that. And
then you get people, my mother's 94, she is hosting the whole family for a party in August to celebrate the passing of my father's 20-year anniversary. I mean, dear God, I mean, what an excuse for a party.
Is that any excuse for a party?
It was any excuse for a party. I mean, it's just, we're going, yes, mother, fine, we'll sort it. Yes, if that's what you want.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Brilliant.
It is, but she has a joy of life still.
Yeah. But is that because, like, I notice with some people that don't have the joy of life is very often because the foundations of their life is very lonely or very isolated, or they don't actually embrace other differences, which is what you were saying at the beginning of this conversation, that you do embrace differences in people, and like all your brothers and sisters are different. A lot of your friends are different too.
I have completely non-horsey friends. I have friends who look absolutely glamorous every day. Normally, I don't look like this. I've ridden my horse this morning, got back in a sweaty state, and actually showered and put clean clothes on. Wow.
Makes a change.
Makes a change. So, yeah, I have glamorous friends. I have down-to-earth friends. I have horsey friends. I have just people. I have a huge amount of friends, and I love them all. They are so supportive and been so brilliant to me.
But that's it. That's the thing, isn't it? If you've got that, then you've always got something to fall back on, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that have very isolated lives don't have that. They don't have that somebody to fall back on.
I think Mum's longevity is also combined with the fact that my brother, she keeps house for my brother. You know, there's a huge purpose.
Is he single?
Yeah, there's a huge purpose in her life to keep the house. She has open gardens in the past. The garden's huge. She adores it. And we're not orphans. She says we won't be orphans while I'm still here. I mean, I'm 71, for Christ's sake.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's
just perfect.
Yeah, it is. And it's really lovely to hear, because I think you're absolutely right. When parents or grandparents have a purpose, I think it does keep them going. I know lots of people who are in their sort of 80s, late 70s, 80s, but because they have a purpose, because they're going out and seeing people, because they've got big gardens, because they like to invite the grandkids over, all of those things, it just keeps them going. My first ever boss, I like to say my only ever boss, but my first ever boss, he's in his 80s now, and I mean, he does not stop. He still has a full-time job. And I see him driving around Weston, always busy, always doing something. And I just think, God, you've got enough money. You've got a nice family. Go and relax. Go and enjoy. I don't know. I've never known him to go on holiday. But he is active and fit. You know, he had cancer a few years ago, and I think he just, boshed that on its head and just was like, well, I've got work to do. I've got to carry on. And, that disappeared and off he went. And yeah, what a testament to people.
I always think I've been retired, per se, for a year now. I sold the yard, and retired to a house that I'm probably 10 years too early for, because it's a shut up and leave house. But honestly, I'm so busy, and every day, to begin with, I needed to do a positive thing. I've worked 7 days a week for I don't know how many years. And there was a big void of, you can only get up, shower, make your bed or ride your horse. So I'm doing the gun dog training with my 2-year-old Springer, which is going remarkably interesting. So my gun dog trainer says to me, you bought a Ferrari soon. It's a shame you're still only driving a Robin Reliant.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
But I'm persevering, and we will do gun dog trials, probably. And every day I do a positive thing, and it's getting easier and easier. So at the end of the month, I'm flying out to Nairobi with a friend. We're going to the Maasai. We're going to be horseback riding and then home again. And then hopefully Argentina, riding with the Ganchos.
Taking Dave to
Christmas. And then maybe Montana in the summer.
Wow.
I need to do these things while I can still really ride basically proficiently and can get on and off.
You're always going to be able to do that.
No, this is, everything. Everybody must have a positive every day, I think. And, and wake up and I'm breathing, that's a positive, isn't it?
I think that, you are a very positive person, but it hasn't always been easy. You've had to work under difficult circumstances, and I think you've made the most of that in spite of what's been going on. And I think it's a bit like that outside world. The outside world see one thing, but what's going on sometimes can be completely different. And that does, but you've always had that attitude, get up and go. But it does impact on you as an individual, doesn't it, when you had that kind of...
Very much so. My inside world in the house has never, for a long time, was not perfect. But my outside world in the yard and horses has been my solace for that. It has been amazing because it was been all-encompassing. So different, so many different people. And I breathe outside. I don't breathe inside, if that makes sense to anybody.
Well, I know for myself, I think the horses have been my go-to all the time whenever something's come my way that's not been easy. And I never imagined me not having a horse. I never imagined me not riding. And like you, that's my positive, that's my get up, that's my go out, that's my do something other than what I do in the general course of life, really.
I mean, people must think I've not done anything else in my life, but I have. I've been a farm secretary, which I thoroughly enjoyed, went to agricultural college, married, 2 children, son's a gamekeeper, daughter's in the police force, 2 wonderful grandchildren who are pretty feral at times, but fantastic.
What do they call you? Granny Sue?
Grandma. Grandma. And again, I was asked to have them a day a week or 1 day a week. And I said, oh, no, I'll pay for nursery. I'm too busy on the yard and this, that, and the other. And one of my girls very close to me said, don't do that, Sue. And pay me to do your job for the day and have your grandchildren. And, you know, out of everybody who's given me advice, Laura gave me the best advice. It has been wonderful to have that bond with them. I'm the person they stay with. Yeah,
it's lovely.
It is lovely. Yeah, very much. So Thursday, I will be picking them up from school, taking them to the local shop for an ice cream, and then cooking them tea.
Where do they go to school?
Burrington School. You know Burrington Combe?
Yeah.
It's the next road over. It's a lovely school.
I love having the grandkids. They are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I think also that sometimes that they're a reason to be like, it's a little bit like that foundational stuff. You know, I get up knowing that I'm going to see the kids. I love it. We've got them all this weekend.
Have you?
Mayhem.
So Max comes out of school, the oldest, and goes, all right, old lady, and starts giggling. Such a monkey taker.
How old is he now?
He's 9 and Jack is 6 next month. Yes. Yeah, they're very active boys. You've got to keep them going. They're not sit-around boys.
But that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they can feed the pheasants, they can drive a quad. They know so many birds and different things that's going on. It
is incredible that educated young people can be, and very often we underestimate their abilities.
Yes.
Or some people underestimate.
Yeah.
And yet they're a wealth of knowledge, really.
Yeah, absolutely. They are a wealth of knowledge, those two.
We took the kids to school the other day, and Reddy is having a whole discussion about different sized ants and the biggest ant in the world. And did you know that it can do this, 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 and this? Wow, he's like a walking encyclopedia.
I know. We have now they have a bug box, and when we get back, of course, the crickets and the grasshoppers, and they're out now at the moment, and the dragonflies are out. So we have to go at the top field. We have to go catching them and putting them in the bug box. And Grandma's not as quick as she could be about putting them in the bug box.
Really?
Yes, so they get loose. Yes.
That's because you're old, Granny.
Yes. The whole thing's hilarious.
God bless them. When you looked at retirement, did you think retirement was going to be as it was? Or, you know, what was because a lot of people get very anxious about retiring, don't they? In the sense of, I mean, you haven't really retired, let's be honest.
No, I'm still taking horses to the water treadmill and taking horses to compete and
taking riders to play.
Yeah, taking riders out, and I'm taking an old client to do dressage on Saturday. Retirement. I didn't want to be that old lady running a yard who couldn't do the job as I have wanted to do it. With my partner dying, previously, I had taken on all the tractor work, the maintenance. So it was big. We had 26 horses in, some full livery, some parts, some DIY. And I loved it, but I didn't want to be that old person who let everything slide. You see, it happens in farming quite a lot.
I think, to be fair, it happens in a lot of businesses. And I think people, they have to get to a point where they make a decision of retire and sell the business whilst it's going strong.
Yes.
Or it ends up slipping away. And actually, you almost end up without a business because you've lost it because you've let things slip.
And the joy of what I've done now, actually, I've sold it to somebody I know well since he was a child. And they have a family of 3 children. And I bought his house in the village. He bought ours. And he's never run as a family, not horsey, they haven't done anything. He's giving it his best. And I'm so proud of the way him and Ben and Stacey have
gone forward with it.
And done things. So in that way, selling to somebody I knew was easy. It was easy.
And are you still kind of providing support in the background?
I did for a few months, but honestly, they're running their own path now.
Good.
Which is absolutely great.
That is an important part, though, isn't it? It's about learning to walk away from that and going, actually, now you're on your own. Get on with it.
I knew we could have fallen out, and because I disagreed with some of his things. So I walked away. I took my horse away because there was no way I ever wanted to fall out with them. Yeah.
You don't, do you?
I'm godmother to his brother, and
yeah.
You know, their mother and father have
really good friends.
Yeah, it's not who I am.
No.
And it's good there. But I'm back there tomorrow to pick a horse up to take it to the treadmill. So, I'm in and out. Do I worry about it? No, I don't now. I'm actually relieved I don't have to deal with all the day-to-day problems. And I think that took me quite a while. But it's been actually a year.
Wow.
Last week, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
I know I'm in that little bit in the air, in that where I know I have. I mean, I've stepped back considerably compared to what I used to do, and I'm happy to let go. It's just the logistics of some of it, the financial stuff and things like that. I'm still playing around with, which is annoying, really, because it still sits there and you still got responsibilities to manage all of that.
Yes.
But there's a part of me that says, get on with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to abandon you, but I'm here if you really need me, which is where I'm at now, in all honesty. Most of the time, I'm not even really that involved. But the charity's taken over a greater deal of my time, which I'm not even sure I want to do that either. It's a dilemma,
I think the word is holiday, holiday, holiday.
Yeah, that's what the kids say. But I don't like going on holiday. So what do you do?
I don't know. I'm doing much more walking now with the dog. I met a new friend, and I've done different hobbies now. I do my gun dog training. We had group training last night for 2 hours.
I bet that was hysterical.
Well, they did them in the pond. My dog thought it was completely irrelevant to go and retrieve the other side of the pond. It'd have a swim around for 10 minutes.
Mum's brought me to a swim.
Yeah, but it was great, and and so I met so many different people doing a different hobby.
Yeah, that makes a huge
That's
difference.
what I set out to do as well: broaden my hobbies to fill that time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because again, lots of retired people they either don't do hobbies, or they almost do too many hobbies, and they know that they're busier than they used to be. But yeah, I think finding hobbies or finding things to do that you enjoy is so important. I'm retired.
I was just about, but you don't, do you? What's
mean?
your hobbies? Sorry, let's pick on Mike here. You're a
do.
bit rubbish, really, aren't you, at that?
I think I do lots of little things, nothing
significant.
I like to mess around with my car.
Oh, yeah, you do have your car.
Charity stuff. There's all kinds of things that I do, but there's nothing. It's not like I can pinpoint something and go, right, I do horse riding as an example.
Well, I think your car's like that, actually. I forgot about your car.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Except
now I've got it back, I think. No, we'll see.
Retirement, the thing I did miss about everything was the people, because I went from people coming in, because I opened the gates at 6 a.m, closed at 9 at night. And frequently people would pop in the house and say, well, could you just check my horse later, because it's not, I don't know about it. Or you hacking out in the morning, or can you do my horse tomorrow? So all day I had people. And all of a sudden I went from just me, and that's when I realised I had to do all these positive things to talk to people.
Yeah. But it's funny though, because I tried to come round to your house, and everybody knows I have no sense of direction and get lost in my own garden. I've done it 3 times now to come round to your house, and I cannot work out how to find your seat. I'm embarrassed. I told you the first time, but I haven't told you about the other 2 times because I'm mortified about the fact that I cannot find your house. And it's like, but no, I appreciate that. I think when you first moved from the farm to there, I did think about that quite a lot. It was on my mind. I thought, wow, that is a significant difference for you. I mean, we've always got somebody coming to here. There's always somebody at this house. It's either somebody doing some work, or somebody having a cup of tea, or somebody for lunch or dinner. But I think we've had that kind of life. We've not got a farm, we've not got any of the circumstances. But I think people have always popped in if they want to chat, something like that. And I think, if they all disappeared off the face of the earth, I think I'd be a little bit lonely. It'd be odd.
Yes, it was odd. And that was the worst thing, I think, about it.
But then you've got to go out and do it yourself, don't you?
Yes,
like you said.
yes. Yeah. Which I haven't had to do because it's been with me.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's made me get out there, and it's made me talk to people that probably I wouldn't have got out and socialised like that.
Well, I have lunch sometimes now out, or go for a coffee. I've never done that, ever. I might meet somebody for a business meeting and have coffee and lunch out.
Yeah.
But I would never go out with a girlfriend, ever.
Haven't done that yet.
I'll book you in.
And then you worry about where her house is. Go to the coffee shop.
Been there, though. I still don't know how to get there. No, you're right. But that's taken me a long time to be able to go, do you fancy having a coffee, or do you want to go for lunch?
Because
So-
it's a you can't justify that in the day because the day's for working. It's
Exactly.
not the evenings for socialising. All days, no.
Yeah, it's really odd. I'm actually going for lunch. Is it Thursday today, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going out on Friday tomorrow, meeting somebody. Actually, I'm going to the Swan at Rowborough. I have not been there for years.
It's lovely. Yeah, we had. I met my children there and grandchildren. Asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I said a walk together.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Family time. Yeah, we had supper there afterwards.
Brilliant. So, if you had to rewrite your life, this is a really random question. I've never asked this.
Okay.
If you had to, what would you change?
Want that.
That is really tough. I'd really like to have worked harder at school so I could have become a vet.
But was your dad a vet?
Yes, I managed his veterinary practice for many years. Commuted from here to Thornbury, and then Ivor and I set the farm up here for equestrian, and we bred a lot of horses, racing, sold them. Yeah, we had a fabulous time. No, I think working harder at school. School I went to for sport, basically, and didn't really cotton on. You had to work at GCSEs, well, they were O levels and A levels in my time. And of course, I went to a private girls' school, convent. Well, didn't do very well. So Dad and Mum said, right, you can go to the local Filton Tech to do your A levels. My God, there were boys there. I'd never come across them in my life. So A levels didn't happen really.
Damn it.
Yes. And there was a pub up the road and things like this. Yes, I was a bit of a wild child. So I think that would be my only regret, because I loved the veterinary side of my father's life.
But your life would have been completely different if you were a vet, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Or would it? Or would it have converged? Because if you think about it,
it would have converged.
Yeah.
And do you know how I say I'm a very privileged person? I'm not rich. I don't have that sort of money. I worked my whole life. I had a pony from 6 years old, and every single day of my life, still, I've had a horse or a pony. I've never been without. That is, and I say how privileged I am. They may have been bloody rubbish ponies or horses because they were cast off from the farmers that
nobody else wanted.
Nobody else wanted. But it's taught me. It taught me so much. Yes.
The thing though, isn't it? Lots of people, they don't necessarily learn that traditional route of being at school or college, doing GCSEs, A levels, whatever they're called now. But they learn from experience and doing things differently. And it sounds like that's where you've.
Yes, I wish I knew now when I was 30 what I know now when I was 30, 40, when I was starting the horses. My knowledge is just fabulous. But saying that, I couldn't have done what I did without Steph Sweet. She has been with me ever since I started. Ivor and I started Teal Farm. She's been like second daughter, and we've never, ever fallen out. We've grown together. Her knowledge is immense as well. So it's the people you have by your side to walk the journey with you that's as equally important as yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I never went to school, so I had no education at all as a child. Went to school. I didn't really go to school.
I was about the same. Yeah.
But I didn't even bother attending in the end. So it's like,
well, I had to. We used to get the bus to Bristol.
But I went back to education as an adult. But you did too, because you did you did your SAGE stuff, didn't you?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And I hated going back. I went to university. I hated it. I hated every moment of it. There wasn't a single part of it that I enjoyed. And I think part of that is because I educated myself before I went to university. Yes. And I think that's the thing. When you're quite resilient and you're quite, I get up and go, I'm going to do something, you'll do it. And you educated yourself in similar ways. Just yours was with horses, mine's with people. And I think that makes just that difference, isn't it? When you do that, you then have that ability. I've got skills that I wish other people had my skills and I could give them to them.
I completely agree with you. That's how I feel.
Such a waste, really, because I'm at that end of my...
Yes, at my age now, and I'm not as strong as I used to be. I couldn't break in the youngsters anymore, but I can read a horse still.
But that's that intuitive thing, isn't it? It's like I get on a horse and I can feel when it's going to to do something. Yeah. I can feel but I was taught, we went to a party at the weekend and the person that taught me to ride she didn't teach me to ride, but she
She
enhanced.
fine-tuned you.
Yeah, she fine-tuned me. And it was the best thing I ever did. Absolutely. But what that did was I can feel things in that horse that other people don't feel. So when people go, I go, well, can't you feel that? And they go, no, why not? And I'm a bit like that with client work.
Yeah.
They go, well, can't you see that? And I watch students and I think, oh, yeah, you don't realise how honed you are into that.
Completely. And the other thing, it takes you a while to tune in. So my son will say to me, get your dog under control. I said, he said, you wouldn't have that with your horse. You are absolutely tuned into your horse, seen that your dog is going to take 3 strides and then she's gone.
Yeah.
He said, you must be on it. Yeah. And that I haven't got it yet.
Are you ever going to get it with that dog?
I'm not sure.
Your dog reminds me of you.
Wild.
Yeah. There's that wild side that on the outside looks very cool, very cheeky, very grown up. And then underneath is that bit that goes, oh, sorry,
that's exactly it. Because I'll take my horse schooling or cross-country schooling and I think, only going to do a small bit today because he's old now and he can't do it. And I went, I think I can bind 10 fences there. I'm going to do that. And then I shouldn't be doing it, but can't help it. I can't help it. There is a complete wild side still.
But I do think you have an influence. I'm not going to mention that person's name, but between the two of you, you're like...
Yeah, we're very bad together.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
Really bad together.
A lot of fun, though.
So what would you change, Mike, just out of interest?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. I was thinking about that when you guys were talking. I'm not sure at this moment. I don't think I've quite got to that point yet where I could say I would do something different. Yeah.
I don't, there's things I would do different today.
That's fair enough.
But
that's the first thing that came to me.
Yeah.
I wish I worked harder and used the few brain cells I had.
Do you realise how intelligent you are when you get older?
No.
Did you realise that you were as clever as you were?
I'm not clever. I'm I'm practical.
Yeah, but that's the same thing, isn't it? But it's very often people judge being clever as intellectual,
academic.
Whereas
you can be intelligent without being academic, for sure. Yeah.
But do we recognise that in ourselves?
No, I don't think so, because I deem academia as being intelligent, not, yes, I can muck a horse out, groom it, see where it's lame, see what's happening, drive a forklift, make hay.
Yeah, but I can't drive
tow a trailer all over the country.
Yeah, I can't drive. Well, I can drive a trailer, but I'm not very good at reversing, really, if I'm honest. It takes me a while. But I can't drive a forklift. Can you?
No, I'd love to.
Oh, God.
I've done a bit of damage with it as well.
Oh, I'm sure you have. Yeah. That's how you learn, though, isn't it?
The guy who's bought the yard from me, he was my repairman. What have you done now?
Really?
Well, the hay bale went up through the roof. Could you just come up? Yeah, it went up. The boom did instead of coming down. It wasn't my fault. It just happened.
I wouldn't have a clue where to start.
But yeah, very rarely
but to me, for me to sit on a forklift and go up, down, go forward all at the same time, that would really...
A lot of coordination.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
Well, it's practice, as everything else is.
But you've educated yourself to do that.
Yeah.
But so many people don't see that. It's like being a good mum, isn't it? Or being a good parent, or being a good whatever you are. It's like it's not people think it's a natural thing. It's not. You've got to work at doing it. And if you do a good job, you do a good job. You've educated yourself to do that good job. But very often we underestimate ourselves.
I never thought I was a good mother. My children teased me in the fact that Andrew, they wanted new trainers for school or something. I said, you can't have those this week. I'm shoeing the horse.
I'm not shoeing the kids.
Yeah, not shoeing the kids. You can go barefoot. My horse can't.
That is funny.
That is hysterical.
Don't really take the mickey. But I was very proud when my son asked me, would I look after his son?
Yeah.
Because they'd had such a good childhood with their grandparents and things like this. And I never thought I'd ever hear that from him. So perhaps I didn't do too bad a job.
You did a good job. I know you did. I witnessed that. So it was good. The kids, and all the kids were always happy to be at your house.
Oh, yes.
Even mine.
Yes. There were a lot of kids at my house most of the time.
More so when they got older,
yes,
when they could get up to no good at your house.
Yeah.
And if they were doing up to no good at your house, they were then doing up to no good at my house, which is quite funny. It's funny being that parent, isn't it? That in the group of parents allows the children to do the things that they need to learn to do to educate themselves.
Yeah.
And I know we've got some family friends who their kids have always come to us. It's always been our house. They will sleep over at our house so they could go out for a drink. because their mother wouldn't let them or their dad wouldn't let them or whatever their circumstances were. And those kids still are an integral part of our lives.
And I always felt I much preferred them all coming back.
Yeah.
Because I knew they were safe.
Yeah.
I'd herded them in, 10 boys in one room. Or Ivor used to go, oh my God. But he tolerated it absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
And because he knew I felt that they were all
Safe.
home and safe. And you all knew they were home.
At your house.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny though, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. Yeah.
But that's that bit about communities though, isn't it? We have a community that will bring people together, and it's not frowned upon that we know that all the boys are at your house, or they used to be down at the Hectors sometimes.
Yes.
And then they'd be, I can't remember where else they used to go, but you knew that they were safe.
There was a nucleus of houses they went.
They went to.
And you knew you could phone the next morning and say, there?
Yeah.
James here?
Yeah.
Yep, fine. Sending them home. But it didn't matter. They were there. They were safe.
What makes me chuckle, every time they went on holiday,
Yeah.
I was a contraception queen.
She was hilarious. And did they need antibiotics when they got back? She lined them all up, didn't you? There were about 13 or 14 of the boys. Like a loof, Iron Napper, you name it, they went.
Oh, that was hysterical.
She lined them all up, handed the condoms out, didn't you?
I did. Don't make a mistake. Here we go. It's all right.
Yeah.
And they bloody took them, which is even funnier.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that's how it is, though. That's how it needs to be, isn't it? And I'd like to think that other parents are replicating that for their kids' groups and stuff like that. Because it's so, and I think particularly we live in a small community. They need the freedom to be able to do that, because actually there's no buses around here. There's,
But it wasn't that we were teaching them to disrespect girls or anything like that. We were teaching them to respect the fact they had a responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's what I think. My grandsons, they've had a pony with me. They have to come out and do the pony. They have a responsibility to look after that pony when they're with me, because the pony doesn't look after itself. Yeah. It has to be fed, watered, and it is a responsibility for life.
So important.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, our kids, when they come over here, they ride, they muck out, they do all of those kind of things. But it's that bit where when they don't want to do it and they've decided they don't want to do that anymore. Like one of our Oliver doesn't want to ride anymore. And he was very honest. He said, Granny, I don't want to ride anymore.
And that's fine.
And that's fine. And it's respecting their wishes, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. You don't push it. You respect their wishes. But also they've been taught responsibility again. It will still be ingrained in them.
Yeah, absolutely. But I know if I said to him, could you help me out and do something, he would do it.
Yeah.
He would hesitate. Might mess about and trip me up on the way or do something like that, because that's what he does. But I think the other thing that was coming back to bringing up your kids and doing that stuff is, for me, was that bit where I knew that if there was a problem that you would let me know, and if I thought there was a problem I would let you know. It was actually, it wasn't like dobbing on your kids, but it was just that actually to know that there's
you didn't need to send it to your children about it. You were aware to be more alert about the problem.
And I think when they're younger, they need that. And I wonder if that, to a certain degree,
boys more than girls.
Absolutely. But do you think that's been lost now slightly with mobile phones, social media?
Well, ours never had mobile phones. We lived in an era where we didn't have mobile phones and they weren't given mobile phones. I don't think Andrew ever had a mobile phone throughout his school life.
Neither did James. James had one when he was an adult of some kind. I can't remember when. And actually, I've still got his telephone number, his first phone number, because I got assaulted at work and I was in an isolated situation. And I came home and they were all sat round the table going, right, this has got to change, literally banging on the table. And James said, and there's my mobile phone, and you will have a mobile phone now. I'd never had a mobile phone. I refused to have one. And James gave me his mobile phone, and I've had his number ever since.
I got the old Nokia one, free from Sainsbury's, I think was my first one, with vouchers, because Lindsay made me get it because I was always the last parent at school to pick her up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I could phone school if I was going to be really, really late.
Oh, bless her.
Yes, because she would have been anxious about that. Yeah, I'm the last person again. Yes, sorry about that.
Bad parenting. But hey-ho, they survived. Right, have you talked enough? Do you feel you've talked enough?
I do.
Yeah,
I've had a great time.
good. Was
Great
it as
time,
bad as you
thank
thought
you.
it was going to be?
No, it's been great,
Good.
actually. Really interesting.
Good. Thank
Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll get you back on at some point. It'd be great.